Hello, this is your girl Annette, Miss BBW Delaware 2016, 2017, Miss Fashion Global 2020, and Miss Classic Universe 2023, representing Delaware. We are here with the Wear Your Crown speaker series intended to empower women and girls into their purpose. Today, we have none other than the fabulous, the world renowned Karen Montgomery. Hello, Queen.
Hi.
It is such
Hi,
a pleasure
Queen.
to have you here. I am
Thank you.
excited.
Well,
I'm
thank you for
excited.
having me.
It is definitely my pleasure. Could you please introduce yourself and let them know who you are, what you
Okay.
do, why you do it, why it's important, and how they can follow your journey?
Okay, my name is Karen Montgomery, as Queen has said. I am 60, well, I will be 67 years old in February. So I've been modeling since I'm going to say 11th grade. I entered my first pageant when I was in 12th grade. So I've been doing it for quite some time, but now I'm more focused on helping others in that journey. But to tell you a little something about because let me just say that in working with people, I find that they have, I don't want to say issues, but they have concerns about their weight. Even though it's very much acceptable that there's plus size models out there, there's a lot of plus size stores, they're all out there, but people still have concerns. And I was one of those people that had concerns. So I started my journey first by getting a breast reduction and lift. Um, that was helpful to me because I felt that my breasts were just too heavy. They were too heavy for me. They were causing problems with my neck and with my shoulders and with my back. So I opted to do that. I will say to others, if that is an option for you, to make sure that you look into everything that it entails, not just the surgery itself, but the after surgery, that the things that come along with that. They actually took out breast tissue, replaced my breast where it was appropriate, and replaced the nipples. In doing that, when I left, it was a 1 day surgery. I went home, I didn't spend the night. They put what they call cups that you have to keep on for about 2 to 3 weeks. And that measures the blood flow that comes from the surgical area to make sure that there's no bleeding inside. That went pretty well. Everything with that went pretty well. I was pleased. I didn't have any scar tissue. I didn't have any keloids. She did an excellent job. And that's another thing. When you're looking for a plastic surgeon, make sure you research that surgeon. I made sure that I found somebody who was the head of the surgical department of plastic surgery at that hospital. I didn't want the interns. I didn't want the people working under her. I wanted her, period. And that's what I did. So make sure you research. Now, years later, I I became diabetic. And that was a problem for me because no matter what I did, exercise, what I ate right, it just it wouldn't get level. So what I did, I opted for a gastric sleeve, which is different than a gastric bypass. A gastric bypass is a little bit more intensive. So I don't know too much more about it, but I know it's a lot more intensive than the gastric sleeve. The gastric sleeve, they go in laparoscopically, so there's no cutting of the stomach. When you finish with that surgery, you have like 3 dots on your stomach. That's it. So there's not a lot of bleeding. But what they do is cut your stomach down as opposed to rerouting it when they do a gastric bypass. They just cut the stomach down to the size of like a small banana. Surgery went well. It was about 7 hours. Everything went well. They get you up. I spent the night because my blood pressure went up. Now, the only thing with that surgery is they want you to have, most insurance companies want you to have some type of problem. And usually they're looking at you being diabetic. And because with these surgeries, it's supposed to down your diabetic levels so that you're either not diabetic anymore or it's very low. It's close to normal. It did, and it absolutely did. But what they don't tell you is that there are other issues that come with that. Once you finish that surgery, you are on a liquid diet, then you go to soft foods, then there's something else in between the soft foods and the hard foods that you do. But then you eventually wean your way over to the hard foods. When you get to the hard foods, that's when the so-called, excuse my language, the dumping starts, because your stomach cannot tolerate everything, but you don't know what it can tolerate. So you think, okay, well, let me eat this rice. No, you're not going to eat that rice without having some kind of what they call dumping issues going on. So you have to kind of monitor and make sure that the foods that you're eating are going to be digested within your stomach, because you can't eat everything. You can't eat a lot. That's the other thing. Once you get to the point that you feel hungry, that you don't feel hungry, you need to stop, because if you overeat, it will cause vomiting and dumping, and you don't want that. It's the worst feeling in the world. And not only that, but you lose electrolytes in your body, so you become weak, your blood pressure goes down, a whole lot of other issues can come up. So it's not just getting the surgery and saying, okay, well, now I can eat whatever I want, because you can't do that. You'll get yourself sick. So had that done. The next thing that they didn't tell me was that you develop a tremendous amount of skin under your stomach because you have lost weight. And I forgot what they call it, a frumpa or something like that. Some terminology they call it now, under your skin. Very irritating, very irritating. I found it to be very irritating. But they don't explain that to you when you go through that gastric bypass surgery. You think you're going to come out, oh, I'm skinny. You're skinny, but you still have that skin underneath there, which can be irritating in the summertime when you wear clothes that you have to button up or zip up around that skin area, which can cause infections. So what I did, I went to a plastic surgeon. Once again, I looked up one of the best ones that I could find that does that surgery, removes that skin from under there. And I had that surgery done where they removed it. Now, with that surgery, you're going to get cut from the side to side. Thankfully, he was very good. I have no scarring at all. However, you have to wear a binder almost forever and a day. I'm still wearing a binder, and I had mine done, I believe it's been over a year now, maybe a year and a half now. And I have to still wear a binder to hold that stomach and those muscles in so that they will go back into place. I didn't have any complications with it. I'm going to take that back. Yes, I did. I was wearing my binder. However, one of the sutures and he sutured me from the inside. And that's another thing you want to do, because that from side to side, that's a lot of stitching. So you want to go to a plastic surgeon who will do the sutures inside that will melt, so to speak. They will melt out. You don't have to go back and get staples out and stitching out and all of that sort of thing. However, one of the areas, a small area, popped open. So I had to tend to that. But what I did, I used aloe and, I forgot, cocoa butter on it. Every night, every day, I used cocoa butter and aloe on it. And it healed. It ended up healing. Ironically, he told me to use some type of medication, but I'm not, I said, no, I'm going to use something natural that will heal it. And it did. It healed it. And he was amazed when I came back and he said, oh, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. So that was the only complication I had, but I had no complications during the surgery. Some people opt to get that removed and also to get a tummy tuck. I didn't want to get the tummy tuck. I just wanted that extra skin removed. And it does make a difference with your clothing. It really does. But you have to be, again, prepared that, ask questions as to what are the complications that can happen. Um, what what are the things that I have to look out for? I still have a tightness where that surgery was done at, which is going to last for a while, I was told. And I still wear the binder to keep that skin in. And the binder you wear day, night, all the time. Wear it all the time. I mean, you can get a girdle, but the binders are much better because they're tighter with that. So that was just to give a little history and just to say that if you're looking at those options, make sure that you look into it, not just what they do surgically, but who's doing it also. Make sure that the person that's doing it, look, you can Google any doctor that you want and their credentials will come up and you can see where they've done, what they specialize in, just to make sure, because you don't want just anybody. You're asleep, you don't know what they're going to do. So you want to make sure that you get somebody that will be doing it right and correct and will follow up with you. And the other thing is, I didn't, and I just lost my train of thought, but let me see. I didn't, I think I said that already. I didn't want the not the gastric bypass, but I didn't want the tummy tuck done. I figured I could just go to the gym and work that out because that's your stomach. You can work that out. Mm-hmm. But again, the doctor was really good. It left no scarring. You have to wear the drains on the side, and you wear those for about 2 weeks. And actually, they can pop out, but if they don't pop out, you just go back to the doctor and they'll take them out. And they're just, again, to measure to make sure that you're not having any type of bleeding inside of you. It was, all three were relatively easy I'm going to say for me, they were relatively easy. I didn't have any severe complications, but again, look into who's doing your surgery. Look into the hospital that you're going to. You just want to make sure of everything, because once you get that anesthesia and go to sleep, you're at their hands. You're at their hands. You don't know what you may wake up to, but you want to at least think that when they put me under, I'm going to be all right. So from there, I share that story because a lot of people had asked me, what did I do? And I have no shame about saying what I did. If it was what I needed to do to help me, then that is exactly what I did. You can't, I would say, when you go to these plastic surgeons, don't be embarrassed because they need to see. So you go to the breast surgeon, they need to see and measure your breast in proportion to what your body is. So yeah, you got to take your clothes off. Don't be shy because that's what they have to do. Same thing with the gastric bypass doctor. He has to see it. You don't have any choice. I mean, you're there to get it fixed, so he has to see what he's working with. And again, with the doctor who removed the skin, they removed almost 15 pounds of skin off of my stomach, from underneath my stomach. That was too much, way too much. When he told me that, I wanted to just say, oh my gosh, that's like heavier than a 10-pound bag of potatoes. It was 15 pounds. 14 point something, but I just say 15 pounds, whatever it was. It was a lot. It was a lot of skin to be removed. So, but I went through it. I did it. I'm pleased with what they did. I'm okay with it. Do I think I would go back and get a tummy tuck? No, I don't. I'm not going to. As I said, the stomach muscles, you can go to the gym and get those down, and that's what I do. I just keep on that regimen, going to the gym and going to Zumba. And hopefully over the years it'll go down. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But it's better than what it was. So when I say love the skin you're in, if you don't love it, you have options out there. But you just have to check and make sure that those options are for you. I also right now, not most, but some of the people in my model group asked me about it. I have a model group called Philly Model Fashion Guild. I have to get it together myself. Philly Model Fashion Guild. So we do fashion shows around the city for different events. Right now we're with Shelly Williams, who has Single on a Saturday night. So every last Saturday of the month, we are there with her show presenting some type of fashion. Last month we did Wakanda and the, what was it called? The King, it was another movie that came out with Wakanda.
Oh, the Woman King.
The Woman King, yes. So we did Afrocentric fashions, representing those two things, and we had the drummers there playing African music. This fourth Sunday is going to be Christmas Eve. So we're going to dedicate all our fashions to the holiday and to Kwanzaa. So it'll be some more Afrocentric and some holiday colors and so forth. We have a singing group that's coming there to sing Santa Baby, and it's going to be fun. It's a fun show, and it's free for anyone who wants to come and participate in the audience. What it is a talk show. They start off as a talk show. Um, Shelly picks a topic prior to us coming there, and it may be a topic of what do you think about cheating men or cheating women? Something that has to do with relationships. This topic for this month, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but in any event, everyone is welcome to come out. It's free. It's at Miller's Ale House on Delaware Avenue near IKEA. And they tape from 1 to 5, actually from 1 to 4. The taping begins at 1, ends at 4. After 4 o'clock, they have karaoke and dancing and music, and you can order food and so forth. So it's really a fun event for everybody. It's really good. Um, so we do that show, and again we do other shows. I just came back from Virginia doing a show with a young lady there, No Heels to Heal, and they'll be coming to Philly in March. So she'll be looking for models. If you need to contact me, if you are interested in any of the shows or any of the events that we do, you can certainly get me on Facebook, Karen Darlene Montgomery. Don't ask me what my other number, my other thing is. I don't know because I didn't set it up, so I don't know what that is. But you can reach me on Facebook and message me, and I'll get back to you if anyone is interested. We take models of all sizes, um, skinny, medium, plus size, doesn't matter. We take them. We have a designer that works with us, Keisha from the Fab Lab. She works with us in supplying some clothing, and sometimes Marlene works with us also in supplying clothing. But sometimes, again, the models have such an extensive wardrobe, they bring their own clothing and they model their own things, which is nothing wrong with that. So we have fun. We have fun together. It's a good networking thing, and you get to meet a lot of people and talk to a lot of people. So it's a lot of fun. Everybody is welcome to join if they like. Um, I guess that's about it. I used to work with children, and I mean young children, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They grew up. They grew up. Most of them are teenagers now, and they're off to college. So that's why I started working with the adults. But the children are always welcome, to come back when they are here. We not too long ago had a reunion with them, and it was so nice because we were surprised that we're looking for this little girl or this little boy, and they're no longer little. They're like, oh, okay, we're looking up at them. They're grown, So that was really good. And we plan to have another fashion show with them. But again, most of them are in college. So we have to wait until the spring of the year when they're on break to get them back together again. But it's really nice to see them and to see that they're doing something. They're doing something positive,
Well, I
so
feel
it's
like you
really good.
prepared them between the parents. That was the Diamonds and Pearls group, right? The
Yes,
pageant
that
that
was the
you were
Diamonds
putting
and
on.
Pearls.
I love that you had not only the parents who were a part of it, but you also had like a number of other queens who did the fashion show portion, like to
Yes.
support them so that they had time to, go back and change. But they had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work to do in
Yeah.
preparation for that, and understanding that if you want something good, that is going to take time and work to put together.
Absolutely.
It's something that I feel like you
Absolutely.
instilled with them. I saw one young lady at a pageant and I didn't recognize her. And as she was talking, and they was like, "Oh, that's," I was like, "Oh my
You didn't know it
gosh,
was
has it been
her.
that long?"
Right, right.
It's
Yes, they
little
grow up
ladies, you're
fast.
right.
They grow up fast. And I thank you, Queen Annette, for always supporting us also. You
That's
supported us
because
a
you
lot.
what
And you
you
still
do is
do.
so important. Like people there are there are a number of people who are like, women can't do this, we can't do that. We can do as much or as little as we set out to do. So in
Right.
terms of what you do, you have always supported women. You have always promoted the models that walk
Yeah.
for you. I have walked for you in a number
Yes,
of shows,
yes,
and I so
absolutely.
miss you guys and the energy that you have throughout the show. And you always have
Yeah.
a variety of women. You always have a variety of designers who come out and
Mm-hmm.
support, and the love and
Yes.
support and encouragement that you have
Yes.
always given me. I
Oh,
appreciate. And I've seen you
yes.
do that for other women and girls. I've seen them go from, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this. Oh
Right.
my gosh, I'm so nervous," to ripping and running and supporting
Right.
other women and girls who want to do that. And I'm like, hold up, is that the same
Exactly.
timid young lady that you were working
Hmm.
with? So
Yes.
I am always inspired by the work you continue to do. I so
Oh, I
appreciate you sharing
appreciate
your
it.
journey.
I like doing it. I like meeting people and talking with them and helping them. And I guess that's my social work therapist background that comes out. But it comes out in a different venue, a different type of way. It's not,
Right.
I'm not trying to find out what's wrong with you. I'm trying to help and encourage, like you said, encourage and uplift you more so than anything else. And I wanted to tell you too, sometime in the summer, we're bringing back the um oh my gosh, what was it called? Oh, the 50, the over 50 pageant for the women.
Yes.
So the senior queen pageant.
Yes.
We're going to bring that back. Yep. So if you're 50 and older, it's going to be a pageant there for you. It's
Okay,
going to be a
well, I look
pageant there.
forward to hearing more. It is such an honor to have you. And the story that
Oh, thank
you
you. It's an
shared or
honor to
your
be here.
experience is so important. I know a number of women who have had a variety of the surgeries that you mentioned, and I've
Hmm.
heard a variety between the acid reflux that happens and the personality changes that you go through.
Right.
And we've had conversations about some of them, and I was just like, really? I didn't know that that was a thing. So find it like it is important. So one, if they have workshops and seminars that you are supposed to go to prior to, please go. Please
Go,
attend.
exact.
The
And
one,
I want to mention something, Annette, also. Before I had the gastric sleeve, you had to go to a psychiatrist because they wanted to make sure that your mind was in the right place. And they ask you a series of questions. You don't know what they're going to ask you, but if you answer wrong, you nope, nope. They want to make
that
sure you're
also
sitting
lets
because
people
it's a
know that you're with a
lifetime change.
professional. Yes. Yes. So
It's
y'all
a
hear that? If
lifetime
you are with
change,
a
and you have to be
professional,
ready
they're
for
going to
that.
make you, yes, go through. You heard what she said. So
Yep.
please do your research. She stressed
Yes.
that. If you missed it, please go back and listen. She's made
Mm-hmm.
sure she said, do your research, know who you're working with, know what it's
Right.
going to entail, what the aftercare is going to be, and
Right.
please be diligent in doing those things.
Exactly. Exactly. Even if you have to go, because before I had the gastric sleeve done, I went to two other doctors. I didn't like one, I just didn't like his disposition. And I said, you're not going to bring that negativity in with me, and I'm laying on the table under
Yeah.
anesthesia. You're not going to bring that. I don't even want that in the room with me. I don't want it. So he was out. And the other one, he wanted to do staples. I said, that would be over 100 staples going across my stomach. No. But the one thing he didn't do that this doctor did, he said, once you remove that skin, it displaces your belly button. So they have to place your belly button in another area so that it looks like it's a belly button there. And that's what he did. That none of the other two doctors mentioned it. None of them. So I'm thinking to myself, well, were they just going to cut me and not have a belly button there? Like, okay. But this doctor went through everything with me, and I was really pleased with that too. But I was just shocked when he said about the belly button because none of the other ones had said anything about it. Never opened their mouths. So if you have to go to 2 or 3, go to 2 or 3. Don't rush into it just because you found one that said, okay, I'll do it. Because they're going to say, okay, I'll do it because they're going to get paid.
Right.
Make sure who they are, what type of person they are, what type of disposition they have, who's going to be in there with them, helping them, how long is it going to take, what do I do afterwards, are you going to be on call for me? You have to know all of that. You have to know all that. Just don't go in there blindsided. Because like I said, if they could tell you whatever way. And also use Google to look up information. You can look up information and bring it to that doctor and question them about it. So don't go in there with them thinking that you don't know anything. Know something when you go through that doctor's door. Know something about it. You may not know everything, but you can know a little bit, enough to question them. Yep.
You gave us a number of phenomenal nuggets.
Okay.
Ladies, if you are just tuning in, please rewind. Go back to the very beginning. She gave us some helpful tips, a lot of great information, some informative educational tips of what to do if you decide to do any 3 of these, or if you know people who are doing these so that you can properly support them as well. So please go back and listen to the whole thing. Karen, thank you so
you're welcome.
much.
Thank you for having me.
It is definitely my pleasure. I will see you, Lord willing, sooner rather than later, though.
Yes.
This is again the Wear Your Crown Empowerment Series 2023, and we have the Queen, Karen Montgomery. Be sure to like, share, and follow her.
I love you all. Thank you so much for having me, Annette. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.